Hello and hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How you guys doing? It's time for me to expose myself again as being totally ignorant about German history. And I'll do so by taking this quiz. You know, despite reacting to German stuff all day, every day, I'm probably going to fail. Of course, the quiz has Adolf Hitler right here as like the banner image. I don't know why that kind of bothers me. Like, really? That's what we're going to represent all of German history. Hitler! I don't know. Obviously, that is an unfortunately very iconic time in German history. So I guess I don't know. You guys tell me if that annoys you. Test your knowledge, German history quiz. About this quiz, you might say that the country has had its ups and downs in the past few centuries. You could say that. That would be an understatement. How much do you know about German history? Let's see. Start the quiz. In what year were the Summer Olympics held in Berlin? Ooh. The famous Berlin Summer Olympics. 36, 32, or 34? Oh my god, these are all so close together. Well, they're all 2 years apart, and the Olympics is only every 4 years. So I can do some kind of math here to at least get close, because honestly, I don't know. Let's see. There were the 2020 Summer Olympics, 40 years off that. Apparently, there was one in the 80s, or 1980. 40 years before that, 1940. So there was one in 36 and 32. There was not one in 34, so it's 36 or 32. So I narrowed it down to that. 32 sounds too early. I think it would have been a little bit later than that. There we go. Using no actual knowledge, I just got the first one right. Yippee. Charles the Great is sometimes called what? Father of Europe, Slayer of Rome, King of the Common Man. I have no idea. Genuinely no idea. Father of Europe. Once again, I got it right, despite not knowing at all. I'll just be flat out honest. I don't even know who Charles the Great is. Circa 800, he began gathering together areas that would become France, Germany, and other European countries. Okay, thanks, Charles. Hopefully you did it peacefully, I'm sure. By population, what was the biggest state in Germany in the 1890s? Wow, that's a difficult question. 1890s. The biggest state by population. I guess I would guess it was Prussia, because I think that was a large state back when it existed. By population, it was 5 times as large as Bavaria and dominated by the wealthy class. Interesting. Hey, I finally got one right on some sort of merit. Who was the last German emperor? Wilhelm II, Wilhelm I. Well, I'm guessing Wilhelm II came after the first. And Frederick III. This could be a trick. Maybe there is no Wilhelm II. But I'm going to go with him because at least I can say, well, between these two, it would be number 2. I'm getting so lucky, guys. Yes! Let's go for 100%. I don't even know how many questions there are. I think there's a lot. Oh boy, strap in. What did Otto von Bismarck accomplish? He unified the German states. I've read that so many times. Let's go. Including civilians, how many people died during the 30 Years' War? You know, calculating how many people die in a war, there's different ways to calculate that, you know. I mean, they say including civilians, but are we including all the people who die from starvation and from, you know, secondary effects of war, displacement, and then subsequently starving? Or because if we are, I bet it's a lot. 8 million. 60 is kind of a crazy one to put, huh? I don't really know why I put that one, to be honest. They're all extremely high numbers, so I don't know why like 60 would be. I thought just because it was the outlier, 8, 12, 60. The war finally ended in 1648, but it devastated Europe's populations, including pre-modern Germany. Interesting. 1648, it ended the 30-Year War. I don't know anything about the 30-Year War. Nothing. What was Otto von Bismarck's nickname? The Clay Champion, the Steel Devil, the Iron Chancellor. The only one that even sounds likely is the Iron Chancellor. He was a clever and powerful man who dominated world politics from his home in Germany. So Otto von Bismarck, really kind of a hero in Germany's history. I mean, obviously, as with any historical figure, there are going to be people who are like, no, he was horrible, and I'm sure he did terrible things. I don't know. Seems like everybody does. Every historical leader did something bad. But with that said, it just sounds like, okay, he's like the George Washington of Germany. He's the most famous. Otto von Bismarck. He's just the main man. Modern Germany is made up of how many constituent states? Ooh, see? Okay, now I should know this. I should definitely know this. I think it's 16. I'm very confident that it's 16. Somehow that always sounds high to me. That's why I'm hesitating. It sounds high. 16. Like I'm thinking of the states, I can't name them all. Lower Saxony, Anhalt, Bavaria. There's all there's more. There's lots more. Like I could name probably 8. 12 or 16. I think it's 16. It just seems high. Yeah, okay. The country's makeup and borders have shifted many times. Cool. Where did Adolf Hitler attempt his first coup? It was in the beer hall. The Amateur's coup failed and he was jailed. He did not repeat his mistake. All right. How many states made up the German Confederation in 1815? Interesting. It's kind of like asking, as far as America, like the original 13 colonies, that's why there's 13 stripes on the flag. 13 colonies. How many states made up the German Confederation in 1815? Would it be more or less? Maybe they consolidated. Maybe there were more. Maybe there were less. I feel like there were probably less. I don't know. I'll go with 12. There were more. Dang it. Replaced the Holy Roman Empire. Damn. Which country imposed its rule over Germany in 1806? I assume France. Napoleon's version of Germany, however, did not last long. I wonder if this is like just super common knowledge to you guys. That's what I wonder as I take this. In what year did the unification of Germany occur? Well, it's been unified a couple times, right? At first, I thought the answer was going to be 1991 or 1990. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about something else. I guess we're talking about what Otto von Bismarck did. He unified Germany in 1888. 1871. Okay. It was then that Wilhelm I became German emperor. Okay. In 1500s, Martin Luther led reform against which entity? The Catholic Church. His ideas and outspokenness had a profound impact on German culture. That's obvious. I mean, that's, if you know any like Christian history, that's very obvious. In what year did the Holy Roman Empire give way to a more modern nation state entity? I'll assume, later rather than sooner. Okay, it was the earliest. 1648. I don't know. Okay. Declining influence of the Catholic Church. Got it. In 1648. Okay. The Battle of Leipzig found Germans and their allies fighting which force? God, I don't know. I don't know in what war this was even in. How can I even begin to guess? I guess France. Safe bet. Napoleon lost the 1813 battle, an event that ultimately unraveled his reign. Wow. The 30 Years' War was a battle between which groups? I don't know anything about the 30-Year War. I'm trying to think of what year it said this was, because up there it said what year this was. But there's been so much information thrown at me, I just don't remember. I'm just going to guess. Catholics and Protestants. Okay. Interesting. And that's actually quite interesting. I didn't know Catholics and Protestants warred. I mean, obviously I know they splintered and, the Protestants splintered away from the Catholics. I didn't know that was a war. Apparently a 30-year war. That's pretty insane. The more you know. What event caused the end of the German Empire? World War One. I assume the German Empire was already over. Invasion by Napoleon? It was World War One. What event contributed greatly to the rise of Nazism in Germany? You know what's kind of funny? I just realized that Nazi is the only word Americans pronounce correctly as far as the Z. Like it's a German word with a Z. Because obviously, if we just pronounced it like how you would read it in American English, it would just be Nazism. Okay, what contributed to the rise? The Great Depression, yes. The German Revolution, the Napoleonic Wars. Yep, that was an easy one. How long did the Weimar Republic last? No idea. No idea. I just don't know, guys. There's certain major gaps in my knowledge of history, like especially in European history, that you might think, oh, how did he not know that? He knew this, but he didn't know that. And it's like, this is one of those things I just don't know anything about. The Weimar. I've heard it, the Weimar Republic. How long did it last? I don't know. 14 years, guys. Okay, it was the unofficial designation for Germany following World War I. That's the Weimar Republic. See, that's one of the ones I want to know. So I'm going to remember that one. Because, you hear that term, or I do, the Weimar Republic. I'm never exactly sure what it was referring to. Okay, it's the unofficial designation for Germany following World War I. Weimar Republic. Got it. Who built the Berlin Wall? Could this be a trick question? Obviously, I assume it was East Germany. For how many years did it stand? Well, the war ended in 45. And like the wall obviously came down in 1990. So it's 35 years. And I guess it took a year to build it, maybe. Maybe it's 28 years. How quickly did they build this wall? It would have taken a few years, maybe. I'm thinking too deep into it. Maybe 34. Damn it. It took a few years. The wall was an ominous divide between East and West Germany. Yep. How effective was the Berlin Wall in restricting East Germans from escaping the country? That's an interesting question. I think it was really effective. I mean, they would like kill you if you attempted to get through it without permission, right? I mean, it was really effective, right? It's an interesting question. No, it definitely did more than just stop the old and frail. It wasn't like a wall you could just climb over. And if you could just climb over it, you're free. No, you were not allowed past the wall, okay? And it was 2 walls. It was just a powerful symbol. No, definitely not just that. There you go. In what year was the so-called March Revolution? No idea, guys. Hey! Randomly clicked. Many uprisings happened all over Europe in 1848 and 1849. Aha. Okay. Okay. What did the Potsdam Agreement accomplish in Germany? Oh, what was that? Oh, man. Potsdam Agreement. Potsdam Agreement. Ooh, it's in there somewhere. Ridded the country of Nazism. How would it do? What does that even mean? Ended overly generous farm subsidies. It might have done that. Created a highway system. I don't think you needed an agreement to make the Autobahn. So it probably ended the subsidies. Oh, it ridded the country of Nazis. Wait. Culture was scrubbed clean of Nazi influences in the hopes of rebooting German society. Wow. Apparently I need to know more about this. Like, who was the agreement between? I guess the Allies and Germany? They were like, yeah, we'll scrub everything clean. The agreement among the Allies, the UK, and the Soviet Union after the war ended in Europe, that was signed, concerned the military occupation and reconstruction of Germany. Oh, okay. So there was a lot to this, the Potsdam Agreement. A lot more than just, hey, get rid of the Nazis. It was about rebuilding Germany entirely. And the plan for Germany, huh? And as far as reparations, war criminals, okay. That's a big one. I feel I should have known that one, to be frank. The Potsdam Agreement. I'm glad I know it now. Don't make fun of me too much. During his rise to power, how did Hitler alter the military oath for members of the armed forces? Interesting. He substituted the word Nazi in many places. He changed it so soldiers were sworn to him alone. He abolished it. I doubt he would abolish it. But I would not be surprised if he did, typical dictator move and said, you're only swearing to me. In what year did Germany's economy surpass Britain's? Interesting question. I was going to say, clearly, after World War II and, took a while after World War II. So I'm going to say 1982, but I'm a little bit thrown off by these. Yeah, it's got to be 1900. The Germans developed an advanced industrial economy. Okay, so it surpassed Britain's, but then obviously it got decimated in World War II, right? I mean, I guess the entire world economy was decimated. Like, obviously, from the Great Depression, and then. But at no point during World War II was Britain's economy bigger than Germany's. Like, after it ended. Whatever. That's interesting. 1900. Following World War II, when was West Germany allowed to begin rearming itself with a military? I don't know the answer at all, but I'm curious to know. I'm guessing, if I had to guess, they were probably like, hey, you have to wait 20 years. So, 60s. Oh, 50s. Okay. Before starting World War II, which country did Hitler decide was his biggest foe? His biggest foe. Not Russia. I don't think it's U.S. It's England, right? He figured that the English would be hard to subdue, and he was right. As of 2015, what is Germany's population? Okay, finally something modern that I actually know. It's 80 million. It's over 80 million right now. I'm confident with that answer. But in 2015, was it 60 or 80? I guess it would have been still 80. Okay, good. Which country did the Nazis invade to begin World War II? Poland. I was like, wait, Austria? Poland. Hitler's aggression triggered events that reverberated throughout the world. Yep. I got 20 out of 30. Better luck next time. I actually got amazing luck. My luck's not going to be any better. Hopefully, I'm just a little bit more intelligent next time. 20 out of 30. Okay. Whatever. I'm sure there were someone there, like the Potsdam Agreement. I feel pretty bad about that one. I should have known that one. But now I do. And thank you for watching. That was embarrassing, but also very interesting. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.